In today's video, we're going to tell you about an $1,800 mod that will fail on your M3 and M4. Hey, this is Bryan. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and check us out at KiesMotorsports.com. You may recognize the car behind me is John's F80 M3 that came in with a motor failure due to a spun crank hub. Well, that's not what today's video is about. You see, this car had a failure that cost over $1,800, and if you have an M car, it's gonna happen to you. In today's video, we're gonna tell you what the part is, we're gonna tell you how to know when you may need one, and also, we're gonna show you how to replace it. Now, before we get started with today's video, I just need to call BMW real quick.
BMW parts, this is Michael.
Hey, how's it going? It's Bryan. Hey, do you guys have any batteries in stock for the F80 M3?
Hang on, let me check.
Okay.
You sitting down for this?
Yeah.
You're looking at $1,885.17 plus tax.
Now, I don't want to buy the car. How much is the battery? As you just heard, it is the battery, which, as you know, typical batteries only last about 5 years. So if you have an M3, especially if you have a 15 or 16, get ready because this charge is coming soon. But what makes it $1,800? Well, first, let's compare it with the battery from my F30 335. So as you can see, we have the F80 battery, and then we have the 335 battery. As you may have heard by me lightly placing it on the table, the main thing is weight. Let's weigh them and see what the weight difference is. Let's start with the weight of my F30 335 battery. So I zeroed our shipping scale here in 58.45 pounds. So we're gonna say 58.5 pounds for my stock F30 335 battery. That's enough to throw your back out when you're installing it. Now, let's weigh my F80 battery. You ready? 29.5. So that's about a 30-pound saving. A 30-pound saving. That's like a spare tire. So as you can see, the reason that these batteries are so expensive really is purely weight. You see, BMW uses a lithium battery in the M3s, M4s, M2 comps, and some other M cars. And it's really just to get that weight down as low as you can. If you tried to save 30 pounds in your car without stripping out interior parts, it gets to be extremely costly as you have to make components out of lighter materials. And actually, BMW already did a lot of that if you compare an F80 to an F30. So now that you know a little bit more about the battery that's in your trunk, let's talk about when you may need to replace it. Now, the average life of a battery, whether you have a lithium or an AGM, is typically about 5 years. Now, that is just a rule of thumb. I've seen batteries go in 3 years. I've seen batteries last 8 years. So it all depends, but the average is about 5 years. And you may be wondering, how do I know when I need a new battery? Well, if you look at the negative terminal of the battery, they will actually stamp the production week and year right into the negative terminal. So if we look at this F80 battery here, we can see 17/16. So it's the 17th week of 2016. If we look at the battery over here, this one is 15/13. So this one was produced the 15th week in 2013, and this one the 17th week in 2016. Now, just because you have a 2016 doesn't mean your battery is always from 16, because oftentimes they're made the year before. So once again, average life of a battery is about 5 years. Some go sooner, some go later, but 5 years is a good rule of thumb. Now that we know about that, let's show you how to change it and then code it. Now, if you're doing this project at home, it is very easy to do, and I'm gonna go over some of the simple tools. So first, you need a ratchet, you need an extension, I get like an 8-inch one. You need a 10mm socket, a 13, and then you need a way to code it. So we're not endorsed by either of these companies, but you can either use BimmerTech or you can use Carly. Today's video, we're gonna show you how to use BimmerTech. Okay, so to locate your battery, if you haven't done so, you just twist this little knob over here, rock it down, and set the cover off to the side, and there we have it. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to remove the two 10mm. So there's a 10mm right here, and there's another one back over here. Once you do that, all you need to do is just slide this black support brace out. Next, over to the right side, there is an electrical connection. You need to Just press on that tab and remove that. This is the thing that's most forgotten, so make sure you take that off before you rip it out. Okay, then while you have your 10 mil out, we're going to release the negative terminal over here. And then you're going to take that off and tuck it down to the side, and you can lift this up and remove the positive. Just give it a wiggle, put it off to the side. Now that your battery is disconnected, you don't want to shut your trunk. You can see I have a fender guard on here, so if it shut, we wouldn't get locked out. What I always recommend doing, I already did it actually, just pull these levers if you have them, and that'll pop the seat. So if you accidentally shut the trunk or someone else shuts it, you can still get in through the back seat, pull this little lever, and get out of the car. So once you've done that, there's two more things. There's a vent hose over here, which is just kind of by feel. So you're just gonna pop it out, and I'm gonna show you where that goes in just a second. I'm gonna pull that out just like that. So one part is going to go on the battery, and then one part actually goes into the car to vent out battery gases, in case your battery gets gassy. All right, so the last thing we need to do, you need to get your 13, and I actually had to grab a larger extension because this one wasn't quite cutting it. And you may notice at this point, your battery is still in there. That's because there's a 13 mil. Kind of hard for you to see, but I'll show you in a second. Okay, there you go. There's a little bracket, looks like this. So I'll show you what this does in just 1 second. Once you have all of that out of the way, make sure that there's no cords hanging over the corners or anything like that. Then you can flip up these super convenient handles. Lift it up, rock it down and around. Boom, battery's out. Okay, now earlier I talked about this vent hose. Well, this vent hose. And what happens is this goes on your battery like that. And then the other end of it actually goes down here. So there's a shot of the hose. Now, when you look at the battery, you will notice it goes flat, and then it has this little bump out, this little taper section on the bottom, and that is what keeps your battery in place, in addition to that brace that goes across the top. So what you do is you take the battery, put it in the car, and then you slide it forward into this groove. So if we take a look back in this wheel well here, I'll show you the first groove. So if you look right here by our, by the snake, by our vent tube, right here, there is a nice little groove. So that is what you slide the front into. So once you push the battery forward, you're going to insert that little bracket, and you're gonna tighten that 13mm bolt right here, and that's gonna secure the back of the battery. So once again, now that we have the battery outside of the well, you're gonna take the battery, you're gonna slide it up, put this little bracket in, tighten your 13 mil, and this isn't going anywhere. So now that you know how to remove and install a battery, I'm going to install this one. One thing I would say is that little vent tube, I would highly recommend plugging it into the car because it's very difficult to get down there. So just leave it kind of hanging, and then you can just pop it on the top. So with that, let's throw the battery in. Okay, so now that your battery is installed, you are not quite done yet. You have to tell the car that you put a new battery, and you also have to tell it what kind of battery, how many amps, and all of that kind of stuff. But it's a pretty easy process if you use either Carly or if you use BimmerLink. We're gonna have links to both down in the description. Today, I haven't used it yet. We're gonna use BimmerLink and see how it does. So first thing you need to do, you need to get one of these little V-Peak adapters. Again, we'll just have everything linked for convenience down below. Now, the reason that you need to tell the car what kind of battery it is and tell it that you put a new battery in is because with these cars, it has a very intelligent charging system that actually supplies the battery with the exact amount of voltage that it needs, whether it needs a little bit more help because it's an older battery, or maybe it holds a good charge and doesn't need as much because it's a new battery. If you fail to code your battery, it's either A, not going to last as long, or if you do some searching on some forums, sometimes they overheat, catch on fire, and have some other issues. So you don't want to have that happen. Most of the time, it's not going to happen, but unfortunately, it has happened. So we're just going to code it and do it right. So we're going to get our little V-Peak dongle. And I'm sure you know how to do this. We're just going to plug it in. Okay, so now that our V-Peak adapter is plugged in, we have BimmerLink. We downloaded it. So we're going to start by going to the settings wheel. You have to set your adapter. We're using this V-Peak adapter. Then we're going to put the car in accessory mode, and we're going to connect to the car. All right, Then we're going to go to battery. And at the bottom, I'm going to do register battery replacement. All right. That was a heck of a lot easier than Carly. All right, so I guess with this, it auto calculates the amps. With the Carly app, when we had to do it, we had to actually pick the battery, but I'm just gonna do it again just to make sure. That was really easy. All right, everything is good. So now when I shut the car off, it doesn't say replace battery. We're good. That was so easy. Do it with BimmerLink. By far the best option for this. So as you just saw, it took about 2 minutes to use BimmerLink to register the battery. It's by far the easiest software we've used, and it also just saved me a lot of money by not going to the dealer. Once again, my name is Brian. I hope today's video was helpful to you out there with M cars. Didn't want to scare you, but it's a reality that your battery is crazy expensive. So for all the links to tools and also the products and software we use in today's video, see the description below. Once again, my name is Brian. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.